So we've seen the introduction of some mini drivers for 2024. So in this video, I'm going to test the Callaway Ai Smoke mini driver up against the Ai Smoke in the traditional driver and the Ai Smoke in the 3-wood. We're really going to see in this video where this mini driver sits. Are you replacing the 3-wood with a mini? Are you replacing the driver? Or possibly are you replacing both with one club? We're going to hit them off the tee, we're going to hit them off the ground, we're going to test them in this video. Okay, so the 340 mini driver from Callaway. So as we're sitting these by the driver and the 3-wood, we're really seeing these in a nice sort of order in terms of that head size. So I've got the triple diamond in the driver, which is a 450cc. Most drivers, or the other models, are going to be 460cc. We've then got the 340cc head of the Callaway. So quite large for a mini driver, I would say, but obviously much smaller than what we're seeing with a traditional driver. And then of course we've got the 3-wood, which is coming in at 172cc head size, so much smaller. Now the other differences we've got to take into account as well as the shaft length. So driver length of the shaft as standard with Callaway is 45 3/4. The mini is 43 3/4, so 2 inches shorter than the driver, which is quite a difference. And then the 3-wood is coming in at 43 1/4, so only ½ an inch shorter than the mini driver. So the mini and the 3-wood are very, very similar on the length, just ½ an inch difference, but the driver is a good 2 inches longer. So I'm going to start off with a batch of shots hit with the triple diamond in the driver. Let's get some numbers of where we're at. We're here. I'm going to flick through these shots pretty quickly just to get some base numbers. And obviously in this video I also want to take a look at how maybe the consistency of the strike and the dispersion, which is probably going to be the big thing, or the big reasons maybe why you would go into a mini driver. So we're obviously going to take a look at that as well. But we'll start off with the triple diamond in the driver. Okay, so there's 5 shots hit with the triple diamond. 5 pretty good drives actually. Accuracy wise, probably quite standard that I would hit with a typical sort of driver. Right, so moving into the mini now, just firstly comparing this up against the driver. So visibly we can see a smaller club head as it is, 340cc up against the 450cc. And obviously the length difference is that good 2 inches different, which is a lot, isn't it? And I think this is maybe one of the reasons, and for me with a mini and the name driver, it's more of a driver replacement club, I would feel, for most golfers out there. So I'm hitting these off the tee to start with. We are going to hit them off the ground just towards the end of this video, just to give you a little comparison of off the deck. I've got the 13.5 degree mini version. They do 11.5 as well. 2 adjustable weights on the back. I've got the heavy weight in the back of the golf club, so I'm making it a little bit more forgiving. I had the heavy weight in the back in the driver and the triple diamond, so I'm keeping it relatively consistent here. Sits great by the ball, just like a smaller version really of the drive in terms of the looks. There's nothing different on the head at all. Ooh, just lost my balance a touch on there, but again, that is straight. Just hit that a bit low in the face, that's just peeling up. That spin might be a little bit high on that shot. Yeah, it is. So losing a little bit of distance there, but that was more the strike. It was a touch low in the club face there. That was a better strike. Quite a nice high flight going forward. Again, very straight, I like the straightness already. And obviously I want to get some long, if this is going to be a replacement driver, I'll probably go into the 11.5 degree head and maybe play around a little bit with the weight. So I would expect to see the spin come down a little bit more ball speed with that slightly lower loft, a little bit more distance, but obviously still got the same plane length, so that control aspect. Again, not a bad strike, just slightly that left hand side. Good strike there. That's slightly toe, that spin probably comes down a little bit more there. No, it hasn't actually, has it? But still find that fairway. I think the big thing for me as well here is just my confidence is just like lifted up a little bit of a level here, just with that shortness of the shaft. I think that's the big maybe thing I find with golfers who put maybe a mini drive in the hand, is just that control aspect. The confidence just grows, you know. That's where I think a lot of golfers probably hit a 3-wood better than driver, as far as a driver sometimes. Obviously that shouldn't happen. Obviously a bit of a technique thing might be creeping in there as well, but in terms of that control element, and feels like emotionally a little bit more confident with this length of club, like they've got a little bit more control, is always a good thing. Oh, that's just absolutely frozen rope. That's bulleted. As I said, I don't think it's the longest setup in terms of this 13.5 head weight at the back, so that spin is just a little bit high for me there. But again, that can be tweaked around depending, again, it depends on really what you want to get out of this club, whether it's a 3-wood replacement, driver replacement. If it's going to be a fairway finder, this is a good setup. Oh, and again, yeah, just oozes confidence with that. Nice ball flight there as well. Okay. So there's 5 hit with the mini driver. Let's just move into the traditional 3-wood now. Triple diamond 3-wood, set at 15 degrees. So I've not changed the loft up or down. Just got one 7-gram screw, which is obviously just fixed at the front. So appreciate the triple diamond, a little bit of a stronger profile here, but a little bit more matched up to me. Keep it the same as the driver. Great sitting by that golf ball. Now 42.25 in length in inches, which is half an inch shorter than the mini driver. Oh, that's a good shot. Very similar flight to the mini there, to be honest, even though it's got a touch more loft. But obviously now the head size is reduced massively now. 172cc, the mini is 340, visibly different there. So I quite like the size of the mini driver off the tee because it does fill you with that big confidence, like a large head on that slightly sort of compact length of shaft. Probably the best one of the lot. Very forward looking flight. Caught one in there, you can see that one that's a little bit short. That was a little bit of a low heely one. Drops off quite a bit. Yeah, really nutted that last one there. Okay, let's move on and hit some off the ground now. Mini driver against the 3-wood. So, mini off the ground. Now my views on a mini driver off the ground, I think it's quite a tough one. I think you've got to have a golfer with some speed and good ball striking. If you're going for the 11.5 off the ground, I think you've got to be really on it to get that flighted. So probably I've got the easiest option here with the 13.5 weight at the back in terms of getting this off the ground. Now, having said that, you know, with this 340cc head, it's clearly bigger, deeper in the face than a 3-wood. So when you sit a ball on the ground, relatively tight lie off a mat here, Links Golf Course, you're going to be the same. Maybe Parkland, you might be a touch fluffier, but generally speaking, you're going to see that ball sitting what looks incredibly low in the face because of the depth of the club face. So instantly, emotionally, that looks like now, that feels like it's really hard to get it up, launching from this particular lie. Okay, and that's quite a typical flight I would expect to sort of happen there. Low in the face, bit squeezy, bit squirty, spins up, got low in the strike face. Okay, it's pretty accurate, and just I feel like that's close to being a disaster, if that makes sense. Okay, that's better. A little bit of a left to right shape. Straight, but you look at that launch, it's really low. 7.1 on the launch, spin goes up. Again, it's pretty accurate there, but the feel you get off the club face is like you just thin it. That feels like I've just hit that bottom 3-wood, and we probably know when we hit that shot, it just feels weak, doesn't it? Ball just doesn't fly because I'm not hitting it high enough in that club face. Again, very similar sort of ball flight, bit squirty left to right, looks weak. Spin goes up, it's in play. Be an interesting one when I hit 3-wood here now with that slightly when I say slightly, a very different profile head. I'm just going to move this one a little bit back in the stance from where I've just had those other ones. See if I can just get a little bit more down that ball. Oh, yeah, I mean, slightly better. Again, it's just working a little bit left to right on me. Just don't feel confident with that off the ground personally. So moving over into the 3-wood, again off the ground, sitting that by the ball, clearly this looks a bit more inviting to hit. Obviously 172cc head, squat on that club face, much more shallower, so it looks like the ball now sits higher up the club face. It feels like you can get the ball launched from the ground. Ah yeah, that's totally different. Touch left on me. But that is such a different ball flight. That's flying way past. There you go. All right, granted, that was a little bit of a pull, but you can see that's flown much, much further. The spin, much, much lower. So I've got 15 degrees of loft. I've got 1.5 degrees more loft. Yeah, I've hit that further. Struck that one very nice again. A little bit left to right on that one, but that felt better. That felt more solid higher up the club face because of the profile of the head again, so keeps that flight moving a little bit forward. So again, not the longest because that spin just crept a little bit, but felt so much better. And at the end of the day, us golfers, we work a lot of feel, don't we? If we hit that strike that feels really solid, that gets our juices going, doesn't it, as a golfer? Feels like we've hit a proper golf shot. Oh yeah, totally different. A flight there, it doesn't fly and stall. So if you're really struggling with driver, then the mini driver is a good option, maybe to replace off the tee. But I would maybe look at that 11.5 degree head as well, depending on your club delivery, obviously. If you're looking at a fairway wood replacement, maybe trying to chase that ball into some long par fives, potentially, or long par fours, maybe into the wind and stuff, trying to get a bit more out of it than your 3 wood. I'd question that a little bit. You're gonna have to be a really good ball striker there. I struggle with that. If I was gonna go as a fairway replacement, I wouldn't. I'd stick with my 3 wood. If it's a driver replacement, I totally get it where that would sit into the marketplace. Appreciate you watching the video as always. Push comments down below, let me hear your thoughts on the mini driver. It's an interesting subject. Hopefully catch up with you all very soon.